I just want to take a few moments to go over a little bit about what our program has to offer, discuss some of the changes that our program we're currently going through as well, and then at the end we'll get a good opportunity to ask some questions and hopefully kind of guide you in the right direction to make the decisions which clearly you're contemplating because you're here today. I'm Craig Davidson and I'm the program leader for the agriculture program. Now, specifically today, we're going to be looking at the Edinburgh campus, and it's important to note that we offer the same course at different campuses, and so we are slightly different than Oatridge. Oatridge is slightly different than Barony. My point is that everybody has a slightly different program, although the curriculum will be the same. So with that said, I just want you to take a look at maybe what it is that you want to get out of any sort of post-secondary pursuits, whether that's college, university, or a career. What is it that you want to get long term, and really what is it that SRUC may be able to offer you in reaching those goals? So kind of think about that as we're moving forward, so then you can ask those appropriate questions. So a little bit about SRUC. Well, Scotland's Rural College, we support the land-based industry from agriculture to vet nursing and many other sectors. And so we cater to many different sectors within agriculture and provide opportunities for students to learn and prepare for. We're the largest institution of its kind in Europe. We combine research, education and consultancy all across the world. We've got 6 main campuses. This excludes our Bush estate and our Auchencruive estate out in Barony, Dumfries. We've also got 25 consultancy offices throughout mainland Scotland and the islands, 8 vet disease surveillance centres, 6 farms, and various research labs all across the country. So you can see clearly here that we've got quite a portfolio of different estates. If we're looking here at the world, the footprint of SRUC in terms of global research, global impacts, this is just really showing some of the things that we are doing and really pinpointing the fact that we can bring in these experts from all across the world and experts who are working with other people across the world to deliver some of our modules. So by looking at this, you can clearly see that we are making an impact in various different areas within agriculture, livestock health, plant health, really just the rural industries worldwide. So that's a pretty impressive thing to keep in mind. In terms of the staff members within the agriculture program, so the agriculture program sits within a larger department, and within our agriculture program, we've got 4 main lecturers, and myself, the program leader. I'm also the year. Now this needs to change just for the last day or so. That's changed. So now the year 1 ag tutor. So I would be really concerned about the first year students coming in and taking them under my wing and ensuring they have a successful year. So that would be my role. We've got Raymond Port. He's a specialty with the engineering mechanization element, and he would be the year 2 tutor. Nicola Strachan, she would be our Ag 3 tutor, and we've got Matt Kazmarek as our year 4 tutor. So these are our 4 main core team members within the agriculture course at Edinburgh. A little bit about me. I'm a graduate from SRUC in Aberdeen. Before coming here, so between Aberdeen and working at SRUC, I studied at California Polytechnic University, also known as Cal Poly, where I got my master's, got my bachelor's at California State University in Fresno, and I've been teaching agriculture prior to SRUC for 15 years, and I've been at SRUC for 3 years now. So important to note that I've been teaching agriculture for quite a while, and Yeah. So why post-secondary pursuits? So why do you want to come to college or university? Why do you want to go further than where you are now? Well, the number of enrollments within post-secondary institutions or higher education institutions, they continue to increase every year by 3 to 4%. So this is a steady increase that we've seen. And this is based on the Scottish Funding Council statistics. We know that there's higher yearly salaries for people with graduate qualifications versus people that have not graduated. And clearly this is going to be a foundation for your career. So we're looking at the networking, we're looking at the knowledge base, we're looking at the theory and the practical elements, and of course, any soft skills or interpersonal skills. And within our program, we're going to be calling those meta skills. So around 67,000 people are employed in the agriculture sector in Scotland. The Scottish Government is encouraging a lot more people to get into the industry, and we've got several incentives. And so there's two specific incentives I've got here. The Scottish Government and the industry are trying to get more women into agriculture. They're trying to get more young people into agriculture. They're trying to get more people that aren't involved currently in agriculture into agriculture. So there's incentives there for new entrances. So those are people that aren't from farming backgrounds. So there's various different ways that the government is encouraging more and more people to get into the sector. We know there's challenges in the future, there's challenges currently, and we're trying to get on top of those challenges by producing a firm foundation for our industry. There is a labour shortage, and we've seen that since Brexit in particular. We are seeing that there's more more dependency on locally sourced food, and we've seen that clearly within the last couple of years as well. So we need people to get into not just farming, but agriculture as a whole. Clearly, if you're in production agriculture, there's job security. We need people that are producing the food. People are always going to need food, but more importantly, people need cheap, high quality, affordable food. And we need to find ways to do that, yet still allow farmers to turn a profit. You'll live longer, and you don't need to be from a farm. So there's lots of jobs which are not typical to agriculture. I'm sorry, there's lots of jobs within agriculture that are not just farming. So we like to push the fact that farming is an element of agriculture, but agriculture is not just cows and plows, but it's definitely a lot more of the support network. So it could be that you're going in. Well, I'll show you a slide in a second. There were 47,980 Scottish applicants to higher education institutions. That's 40% of school leavers. 35,000 of those applicants were accepted. Thus, 60% of students didn't apply, meaning that you will be one of the minority who do. So if you apply for a place with us, you'll be one of the minority, if you will, and you'll be setting yourself up to be more competitive than others. So some of the other opportunities within agriculture, if you do want to go into, again, farming is just one of these, but you could be an engineer within agriculture, a botanist, you could be a livestock vet or large animal vet with an agriculture foundation. So a lot of these things on this slide, you are going to be really benefited from having an agriculture degree or having some sort of agriculture education, so that then you can apply that towards these specific careers. And an ag journalist, we don't typically think of that, but if you like to write and you have a good knowledge on agriculture practices, then you're setting yourself up to be a pretty good agricultural journalist as well. So again, some things that are slightly different than the normal farming. So the program aims that we've got, we need to provide students with a detailed knowledge and understanding of current agricultural techniques and management practices. So that's our job, is to give you that, and to incorporate knowledge of a wide range of rural activities. We're not just going to be talking about sheep and cows. There's a lot more out there that we're going to teach you. to develop skills within students to make them ready for the workplace. So I'll show you the timetable and how the skills fit into that in a few moments. So where are students from? So we've got students basically from all over the world. You can see this list here, and we'll see where our students come from in the future. But we are certainly seeing a rising number of students from different parts of the world applying to be with us. So international notoriety is quite important when you start to apply for jobs, whether they're local or across the pond. So why Edinburgh? Again, there's several campuses, and we are just the Edinburgh campus, but people come to us for one. I would say some people come to us simply because we are in Edinburgh. Edinburgh, there's lots to do. There's a nice social life. It's a nice city. There's lots of people to meet. If you're trying to get off of, say, a rural area, this would certainly be one option to do that. You get a university experience within a small cohort. So a typical cohort with us might be about 30 students. That would be a large cohort. So we're really looking at anywhere between 20 and 30 students in a class. So it's a small group. So the lecturers get to know you, you get to know the lecturers. So the ratio there is really personal. However, our campus is on the Edinburgh University campus. So you do get that feel for being on a large university campus as well as having those small class sizes. We do take classes with, I shouldn't say with, but we take classes at the Easter Bush campus, and at times we are having some of the Dick Vet staff will come in and also help lend a helping hand in terms of some of the lessons that are taught. So you are getting some of those expertise as well. We also have the farms in close proximity to the campus as well. So what should you expect as a student? So you're going to have a year tutor to guide you and personalize your experience. You're going to have a support network, connections and involvement with the industry. You'll have lots of people coming into your classes to talk. You'll have lots of visits to different locations. And anytime you have different people coming in to teach you, we hope that you'll take note of who those are, maybe exchange business cards or something to gather that portfolio of networks. There's a variety of modules. There's an active student association, also known as SRUC. There's you can network with other campuses. So even though we are Edinburgh, you will still have opportunities to take classes with students at other campuses. And if you've got friends at other campuses, you may come in contact with them. And some of your modules, you can still help each other out and ensure that you're all on the same page, even with the other campuses. Academic work, of course, you should be expecting that. You should expect to be in the classroom, out of the classroom, through practicals and labs. And again, as I've said, you'll have visits. And of course, more importantly, we want you to go out into the workplace and apply what you've learned with us in a real world situation. So having the ability to do that is just as important as the knowledge exchange as well. So this is our current group of year ones. These students are just finishing up. Actually, they just finished up. And you can see in this picture that we've got a wide variety. It's tough to see, but because everybody looks young these days, there are a couple of mature students in there. We've got obviously males and females, a good number of females. This is not just an all-male program, despite what the myths out there might lead you to believe that agriculture is for males. It's certainly not the case at all, and I want to stress that that we have many females within our program that are in many cases more successful than the males. So if you're a female out there, please be encouraged by that. Course awards. So we cover courses from the HN level up to the bachelor's level. That's what's within our remit. We also, once you get your bachelor's, you can go on and you can get your masters, you can get your PhDs as well. So we partner with Edinburgh University to award those as well. But the undergrad stuff are awarded by the University of Glasgow, but you'll end up, well, at some point, I'm not quite sure if it would be by the time you're finished, but at some point we do hope to have our own degree awarding powers. So, but currently we are through the University of Glasgow. So in terms of the modules, this is what you would expect to take. These are your subjects. Now within each of these modules, there's lots and lots and lots of topics. So we are looking at 15 credits that you'll need to have under your belt by the time you're finished, and that will give you the HNC, the Higher National Certificate. There's 5 different modules you'll take. You'll take a Principles of Crop Production, so that could be anything from the specific crops to how to grow those crops, to the machinery of those crops, environmental impacts, and that also includes grasses, fodder crops as well. So there's lots. Each of these are full year classes. So we're not just looking at necessarily a 10-week course, but the Principles of Crop and Livestock, these are full year courses. It's the same thing with the livestock. So we're looking at practical or husbandry elements. We're looking at the science elements. So your genetics, your breeding, your hormones, nutrition. We're looking at diseases, health and welfare, and then of course the husbandry elements as well. Professional practice and skills. This would be this would include a work placement. So you're going to have to go out and do that. There's many different skills in terms of IT skills, report writing skills. It could be skills for record keeping for livestock. How do you fill in the applications, the passports, all that fun stuff there. And then it also includes going out to the farm for the practicals as well. So there's going to be practicals, and I've said labs. So we're currently hoping that we can figure out ways to do some more dissections, and that would also be a part of that as well. So there's going to be many different things that you would do with this section or with that module. Specialized farming systems and renewable energy and diversification on farm. These are what we call our optional credits, but they're optional, but they're not optional. You still have to take them. If we're looking at a map of where our facilities are, here, I'm assuming you can see the mouse here. This is Arthur's Seat. So this is the centre of Edinburgh, and we are located right around here, or maybe it's further down here. This is where we're located as a campus. So just a few minutes out of the city, we hit the Pentlands, and the Pentlands is really our home for our farms. This is our livestock, our beef unit, and right above our beef unit is our sheep unit, and all of these hills along the Pentlands are our college farms. So you'll be out here quite a lot using and getting familiar with all of this land. We also have the Easter Bush Estate, and this is jointly used by Edinburgh University and SRUC. So we've got quite a few different facilities over here. We've got our CT unit, we've got our chicken unit, we've got the poultry abattoir out there, and we've also got, well, we used to have a PM room, which has now been flattened out, and it's in another location now. But we also have the Roslin Institute, and the Roslin Institute is where we have a lot of our researchers, our geneticists, doing various number of things in here, along with the Dick Vet, and some of our staff teach into the Dick Vet, and some of our staff, their staff teach into us as well. So you'll be very, very familiar with the Easter Bush campus. Okay, here we've got some pictures of some of the facilities. So the Langhill Dairy Farm, this is out in the Roslin area, so the Roslin Village, and this is owned by Edinburgh University, but we have the ability to use it to carry out practicals. So students will actually have to do a number of milkings here and follow the dairy herd and get some data and do some projects on the dairy herd here. We've got our beef unit. So this is the first place in the Pentlands that I showed you. So this is a massive beef unit. And we've also got a number of trials that take place in here and in some of the surrounding buildings on the farm. We've got our pig unit. The pig unit, to be honest, you're not going to be getting into the pig unit very often here at Easter Howgate because of the biosecurity and primarily because of the trials, the research that takes place. But we do have pig facilities at the Oak Ridge campus, which we have began starting to use for students as well. So we'll more than likely get you in the buses and take you out to our Oak Ridge campus to do some pig stuff out there. In the event that we don't do anything at the Easter Howgate. So this is just a shot of the castle of the hillside at Castle Law. So we've got just sheep grazing up the hill. If you're familiar with the Pentlands, you'll be familiar with this view. This is the top of one of the hills on the Pentlands, and this is looking down into the Easter Bush campus. So this is our Dick Vet School here, and we're going to be located over here. So this is us doing a little lesson on grass varieties and how the grass changes as you get higher in elevation, or at least as the land type changes as well. Bog Hall Farm, so this is an area where we do a lot of trials for the cereal crops. And so students will be given their own plots where they're going to have to produce their own crop of wheat, winter wheat. And so this is just an example of them going out there and learning about that, and assuming that after the picture was taken, they had some decisions to make in terms of their nitrogen or the different fertilizers and seed rates and all that stuff. So although clearly this has already been planted, so it wouldn't be that. Easter Bush campus. Here we've got an overhead image of the Roslin Institute. So this is where our geneticists and our different researchers are located here on the Dick Vet campus. Now, practicals that we've done this year. So we started off this time last year with our Freshers Week, where we took students to Fox Lakes out in Dunbar, and students had a good time, get to know each other. And really, there wasn't much other agenda other than for them to have a good time and for them to get to know their other classmates. So this is during Freshers Week. We also visit farms. So this was a farm visit to, I think it was called out in East Fortune. So that was out near North Berwick, where they sort of visited a farm that was diversified into many different areas, and they had their own farm shop. So this was just an area that we were in, and it made for an excellent visit. This was us up at our Sheep Hill and Mountain Research Centre out near Glencoe, where students went up there to learn about the stratification structure of the sheep system. The students will be doing the work placement, so this is just some pictures of students on their placement and some pictures of them partaking with different skills. This is something that we did before, where we've artificially inseminated pigs. This is becoming a bit more difficult in recent years, simply because of the fertility rates. We saw some decreases in fertility rates, but we're hoping to bring this back over at the Oak Ridge campus. So this is here at the Easter Howgate. Again, their trials are a bit more dependent on the fertilization, and if the fertility rates are going down, then clearly that impacts some of the trials. So we're going to be moving most of our things over to Oak Ridge. So again, in either case, you will be learning how to artificially inseminate pigs. EBV practicals. So this is us learning about EBVs, estimated breeding values, and looking at the documents with the values and relating that to the live animal. So you get a chance to learn how to select livestock based on the data you have in front of you, and be able to look at that and see what that actually means in terms of what you're going to use that animal for, whether you're using it a specific animal for breeding or for market. How are you going to select the appropriate animal? You'll learn how to do different measuring techniques. If you're designing a shed, you'll be needing to know the ventilation space requirements. You'll need to know livestock head requirements. You're going to need to know lots of different things and then measure things out accordingly. So here's a visit we did to a potato farm out in Fife. We visited a farm that is diversified into deer. And then clearly you'll be on farm just doing your normal practicals. And in this case, this is students working with the sheep up at our sheep farm in the Pentlands. We're going to have a number of different industry folk coming in, and the people from all kinds of areas of the industry. And in this particular year, we had Martin Kennedy from NFU Scotland came and spoke to the students. So every year's different. We're not always going to have the same people come in, but you will have a high number of people come in from different backgrounds. We visited a wheat flour mill. In fact, this guy here, Angus, I actually was in France last week and I saw his wheat out there. I was, oh, here's Angus's wheat. It was quite. He's just a small flour mill out near, out in East Lothian. I'm not quite sure where it would be near, because it's not really near anything. But this was a really neat experience for the students to see the processing of that wheat into flour. Here we have visited Harborough. Most of you will be familiar with feed mills, where they got a chance to see how the feed was turned into pellets or into anything for that matter, into the different blends and compounds. And this was a really neat experience for the students as part of the nutrition class. Egg quality and production visits. The students learned about the different quality criteria of eggs, and clearly the different handling welfare considerations for the chickens themselves in order to make a high quality egg product. So the students got a chance to go in there, collect those eggs and process those eggs. This is something we did at the Dick Vet, where we learned how to correctly calve, correctly lamb using the simulators, and dead animals. Other things that were not pictured, so we've done abattoir visits. We'll do a number of farm visits, dairies, beef, sheep, poultry, pigs, and diversified farms. You saw pictures of some of that. Growing packer houses, so we'll go out to, in the past we've used Kettle Produce out in Fife, where students have gone and seen harvesting of carrots, and then the processing of that carrots all the way into bags and sent off to Tesco. And then a number of different agricultural shows throughout the year as well. So if you come to SRUC, we really hope that you're going to leave our program ready to sustain the agriculture industry. We know that agriculture has a number of challenges, but we need you to really think about how we're going to improve those challenges or get past these challenges and improve the industry. So we need to sustain the industry. We need to sustain the industry by farmers, by agriculturalists, having an increased mental health. So that's something that we're really going to be focusing on, is how do we decrease the mental health issues within people, or with people within the farms in the rural communities. So if we can do that, we're going to sustain the industry. If we can give people a better appreciation for agriculture, hopefully the industry will be better off. If we can create more environmentally friendly producers, then the industry will be better off. If we can produce lawmakers that are making decisions that are beneficial to agriculture or to producers, then we can sustain the industry. And you get the point. We need better workers. We need more switched on workers. We need people who are taking care of the industry, and we need long-term plans, and this is some of those long-term plans. So if we can get past all of the challenges and we can really focus on this, then we should have a stronger industry at the end of the day. We've got an SRUC website. Most of you, I would probably say 100% of you have probably already been on the website, and by now you've probably learned about the appropriate ways to get the information, find out about our courses. But if you don't know, there is a lot of information on the website for getting more information on our program. So I'm not really going to talk about these. I'll just skip through it here, but you can just click on all of the different things here, and it tells you here what campuses our courses are offered, and an overview, what you'll learn, student experience. You can learn a bit about the lecturers, and you can come back and ask if you've got any more questions. But to sum up, SRUC is going to provide students with a 21st century learning experience. SRUC is going to provide students with a support team, personalized learning in a university setting. And we are a university. We offer bachelors, we offer masters and PhDs. So we're not a small college that you would find in a small town somewhere. We are a full-fledged organization. So one of the world leaders in agricultural and animal research. We are world changers. We have expertise at our fingertips. We have a network with the industry, but more importantly, we are a career starter, and hopefully will be your career starter. So, did you get the information you wanted? I just gave you a lot of information. I'm going to ask for any questions now, and hopefully I can answer anything that you might have. What questions do we have?
Yep. Yeah, I'd say if everyone can get some questions in, that'd be brilliant. The first one we have, though, is can you tell us a little bit about the class sizes?
Yeah, so the class sizes, it's all going to be dependent on how many applicants we get. Last year, we stopped taking students because the class sizes were so large. I believe we were somewhere at the 35, 36 mark at the beginning of last year. Of course, natural selection is going to dwindle those numbers down slightly throughout the year. But normally their first year classes are somewhere around about the 30 mark. But it could be lower, it could be higher. So yeah, on average, I think it's safe to say it would be somewhere between 20 to 30 normally, first year closer to the 30 mark.
Okay, brilliant. And are cohort sizes similar for postgrads, close to a one-on-one?
Yeah, postgrads, there's going to be a lot more one-on-ones. Postgrads, you're certainly not going to have large class sizes at all. Primarily is going to be one-on-ones, or less than 5, I would assume. I don't deal too much with the postgrads at all, but my knowledge would tell me that you're looking at very, very, very small cohorts. Now that's within the programs, but they're also combined. So you may take postgrad classes with students from other programs, which would then increase your sizes. So I'm just really talking about the cohorts.
And how much would everything cost?
Costs are all on the website. Don't know the prices. If you're a Scottish resident, the tuition should be paid for if you meet the criteria, which you probably do if you haven't taken any college before. But those questions would be best answered by our recruitment team or the admissions team.
And for the course, how are students assessed? Is that mainly exam-based or coursework-based?
Yes, so we're going to the new program. Well, I suppose let me start off. In the past, we've had 15 modules per year. So that's a lot of classes, and each of those classes had their own assessments, and some of those classes may have had 3 or 4 assessments per class. So if you do the maths, which I won't, you're looking at a lot of assessments throughout the year. So 15 modules with at least one assessment, some with multiple That's a lot of assessments. This year we've changed from 15 modules to 5, and each of those modules are going to have a portfolio. So we're looking at 5 pieces of coursework which is scattered throughout the year. So they're not all going to be having to do one massive portfolio all at the same time, but you might do a part here, a part here, a part here throughout the year. And then there will be formative assessments as well, but not necessarily assessments that will go against your grades. But so we're looking at a much less amount of assessments than what we've done in the past.
Brilliant, thank you. And another postgrad question for you here. As postgrads within SRUC, can we expect to be located in just Edinburgh, or would we spend any time in other SRUC member universities?
Yeah, I'm going to have to refer any postgrad questions to the postgrad team, because this program is not a postgrad program. We have a whole postgrad program, and if I was to attempt to answer these questions, I'd probably get them wrong. So I apologize if you're here on behalf of the postgrad program. This is not a postgrad program. So perhaps Anushka or Jack could pass on the information to you for postgrad, if that's okay.
And is there any activities planned for Freshers Week in relation to this course?
Yes, there are. And so as soon as I get the list from the admissions team, quite close to when students come in, information will be sent out to incoming students for Freshers Week, but there are things planned, or we're in the process of planning activities for Freshers Week. So Freshers Week is a full week, and students will come on campus to do activities which are put on by support staff. It could be matriculation or induction things, how to get onto Moodle, which is our virtual learning environment. It could be the rules for plagiarism. It could be how do you find support if you've got any mental health issues, or if you've got any student support needs, academic needs. All of those things will be discussed with everyone on campus. And then there'll be 2 days where we'll take students out for activities. So you won't be with me for those 5 days or 4 days. I think it's 4 days, but you'll be with someone at the organization, but you'll be with us for 2 of those days.
And how much practical time do you have weekly compared to classroom learning?
So we've got 2 days of scheduled practical / skills each week. So we are currently hiring a instructor, so somebody that's only hired to work with people on the farm. So the idea is to get you on farm to do some sort of practical at least once a week. Now, once a week might turn into once every 2 weeks. So for example, if you've got a class size of 30, we might have to split that 30 into a group of 15 and a group of 15. And if we keep you there for a full day, we might end up saying, instead of keeping you there for half a day, we might end up having you for a full day every 2 weeks, or it might be a half a day every 1 week. So in either case, the time frame will, the amount of hours on the farm will remain the same. But until I see the numbers and I see what we're working with, we're looking, I can't tell you if you'll be there once a week or if you'll be there once every 2 weeks. But the idea in terms of hours is that you'll be there for at minimum half a day every week. So again, it could end up being every 2 weeks for a full day. But it's scheduled in the timetable for you to have practicals and skills. Now, practicals are not necessarily working with the livestock. So practicals could be that you're working with the crop team and that you're going out there and you're looking at the winter wheat, for example. Or it could be that you're working with the sheep or cattle, or it could be that you're in the computer lab and you're doing some things in the computer lab, learning about CV writing and or interview strategies. So It's not always going to be farm work. There's a number of things that that you'll be doing other than that as well, but those are still going to be considered practicals or skills because they're beyond the lecture time.
Great. And the question is, are we going to be in classes or on campus every day of the week?
The timetable is still to be finalized, but you will be on campus. It looks to be, I'm trying to remember now, I think you would be expected to be on campus about 4 days out of the week. I believe, don't quote me on it, that Fridays are currently timetabled to be off, but don't quote me on it yet.
And another question, can we go to the campus and apply for the courses, or do we have to do it all online?
I'm going to leave that up to the admissions team. The best thing you could do is call the admissions, or if you can email them, but then that defeats the online question. If you did that, they might be able to answer, but I'm going to assume because you're applying through UCAS, you're not applying through the college, that it would have to be done online. But that would be a question for the admissions team.
And when does Freshers Week start?
Freshers Week begins on, pull it up here. Let's see, September the 12th. So that week is the Freshers Week.
Brilliant. And a bit of a two-parter here. What is the average age of students in the HNC? And then also, do you get the chance to get a tractor license?
Okay, so average age. I don't have the data because I obviously haven't crunched it, so I'm going to guess. We're looking at around, for the HNC, we're looking around about 18. So if I was to guess, it would be 18, 19. Okay. There's obviously outliers. We're going to have some mature students. We're going to have some part-time students that are working in a career that are also taking classes on a part-time basis, or we'll have people that are doing an infill. So they're just taking one class a year. So there's going to be some differences there, but full-time we're looking at about 18. In terms of tractors, there will be opportunities for you to learn, but if you want to get a qualification for a tractor, we don't provide qualifications within the course, but you will. You can be directed to our training team, who can provide that official training, so you can take those tests and pay. You have to pay an additional fee for these trainings. In previous years, we've had funding where we could give students money to apply towards these training courses. But I can't speak whether or not that funding will be available this year or not. If it does become available, then obviously that would be there for you to take those trainings. But for the most part, any sort of tickets, any sort of official trainings would be done on your own dime, as they say.
Okay, brilliant. That looks like that's the last of the questions there, Craig. Unless anyone's got any last minute ones to add in.
Okay. All right. Well, the silence tells me all. Hopefully, I have been able to answer all of your questions. If not, then please reach out. Here's my email on the screen. Please reach out to me or the recruitment team as well. We would love to maybe have some follow-up conversations with any of you. And as you go away and you start to think about maybe some of the things that we talked about, more questions may come up. But thanks for taking the time anyway. I apologize that we can't be with you face to face on campus this time around, but hopefully we will see you on campus at some point in the near future. For now, take care, and yep, just reach out if you've got questions. Thanks again.